Shoshan Purim Sameach to everybody. I wanted to speak on about some miracles that appear in the Megillah, which sort of pass underneath the radar. We read about all the miracles in the Megillah, and I think there may be a couple that don't really catch our eye. The one of them, let's first of all give the background, and then we'll be able to appreciate some of those unnoticed miracles on a national scale. So first of all, we know from other books that for Yirmiyahu, for example, that Hashem conveyed to Yirmiyahu that the galut of the Jewish people after the destruction of the first temple will be 70 years. And the miracle of Purim is taking place towards the end of the 70 years. It takes place in the year 52, between 52 and 70, so it's 18 years. That's a span, more or less, of when the miracle of Purim took place. And we know that after Mordechai and Esther defeated Haman, that paved the way for, Haman came from Amalek, so with his destruction and his fall, so that paved the way for afterwards the unfreezing of the building permission of the Beit HaMikdash and the subsequent building of the second Beit HaMikdash. I spoke about it at length in other occasions, but the Netivot explains that one of the great miracles of Purim was not that once Mordechai was, that once Haman was defeated, and things went back to square one. That's not the case. That's how maybe it appears, but that paved the way for, again, the Jewish people returning and building the Beit HaMikdash. That's always the sequence in history, is that before Beit HaMikdash is built, so the Amalek has to be destroyed. Okay, so that's one national achievement that happened during the time of Purim. And in the Megillah, there's another miracle, which I say is on a national scale, which I think sometimes passes us by. In chapter 8, the Megillah tells us that when Haman was hanged, he and his sons, Mordechai and Esther plead to Achashverosh to rescind the decree of Haman, which was to allow for the Jewish people to be attacked on the 13th of Adar. And Achashverosh says, I can't rescind it. That's the law. But what I can do is I can revise it. And what I can do is I can, I'm now sending out a revised version of the original decree. And what I'm saying is that the Jews have got the right to defend themselves against the enemies who attack them. Wow, like a big yeshiva. Thanks very much for allowing the Jews to defend themselves. Al kol panim, what it says is as follows: it says the edict went out, and then it tells us that the Jewish people, what they did was they were attacked, in fact, on the 13th of Adar, but because the king allowed them to defend themselves, so that's what they did, and that they killed 75,000 people. Now, what does that mean? It means that one of the miracles of Purim was that there was we're not, so to speak, fighting against killing 75,000 people. So the scale of the battle is that of an army. So I think that's the one miracle that already the Torah is speaking, that the Tanakh is speaking about, that the Jews executed so poor. Nevertheless, over here managed a tremendous act of resurgence, and all in the very midst of the Galut, they made an army. The second inyan, which the Torah speaks, which the Tanakh speaks about, is the edict itself, which went out. It says in chapter 8 and verse number 9. It says over there that Achashverosh made an edict, and he sent it out, and he sent it out to all 127 provinces, and he says each province and each group according to its script, every nationality according to its language, and then the pasuk ends off, right? Ve'ela Yehudim kichtavam b'chilshonam. That's miracle number 2, which passes under the radar. Wow. For the first time, we've got a renewal of the Jewish script and the Jewish language. And just look at the irony of the Megillah. The Megillah started off with how was actually everything, how did the miracle Purim come about? Well, there was a plot of two people to assassinate Achashverosh. That plot was uncovered by Mordechai, who was an expert in all languages. And the people who were plotting to assassinate Achashverosh, they didn't realize that Mordechai, who overheard their plot, understood their exotic language. He was a member of Sanhedrin who had to be very au with all the languages. And when he overheard them plotting in the foreign language, he relayed it to Esther. Esther related to Achashverosh. The matter was investigated, and because of that, it was written in the annals of the king that the chronicles of the king that Mordechai had saved Esther. So you see the irony. In the beginning, it's about Mordechai interpreting other languages, and in the end of the Megillah, it speaks about, I think, the biggest trump of all is that when Achashverosh sends these edicts, allowing the Jewish people to defend themselves, he relays that edict to the Jews in their own language and in their own script. That's part of the resurgence, the national resurgence that happened on Purim, the founding of the army, again, the reorganization and the redevelopment of the Jewish script and the Jewish language, and the defeat of Amalek, which paved now the way for the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash. So happy Shoshan Purim to all of us, and Bezat Hashem now, we live in a time of the flourishing and the renewal of Am Yisrael, should now in Medinat Yisrael since 48, and even beforehand, that they should go towards that level, the ultimate redemption of the Binyan Beit HaMikdash. Shoshan Purim Sameach.